Let's break it down. China just announced a new round of sanctions on US defense companies, including Boeing's defense operation in St. Louis, after Washington approved a massive new arms package for Taiwan. And this matters for one big reason. The Taiwan issue is now the most explosive red line in US-China relations, and Beijing is signaling it will respond every time the US deepens military support for the island. I'm Imran, a Middle East-based analyst who follows global economics, tech, and politics. My goal is to give you short, honest breakdowns so you can make up your own mind. So, what happened? China's foreign ministry announced sanctions targeting 20 US military-related companies and 10 individuals connected to those firms. The penalties are pretty straightforward. 1. Any assets they hold inside China get frozen. 2. Chinese organizations and individuals are barred from doing business with them. And 3. Several executives are banned from entering mainland China. And the ban also covers Hong Kong and Macau. Big names mentioned include Boeing's St. Louis Defense Unit, Northrop Grumman Systems, and L3 Harris Maritime Services, plus a list of smaller defense and drone-related companies. Now, why now? Because the US recently announced an arms package for Taiwan worth about $11 billion, one of the biggest packages Washington has proposed for the island in years. And China's argument is consistent. Beijing says Taiwan is part of China and any foreign arms sales are interference in internal affairs. Meanwhile, Taiwan's position is also consistent. Taiwan has its own government, rejects Beijing's sovereignty claim, and says it needs to strengthen deterrence as Chinese military pressure around the island keeps rising. And the US position is the balancing act. America doesn't officially recognize Taiwan as a separate country, but it is legally committed to helping Taiwan maintain the ability to defend itself. So this is the triangle. China sees arms sales as escalation. Taiwan sees them as survival. The US sees them as deterrence. Now let's talk about the real impact of these sanctions. In many cases, these measures are partly symbolic because major US defense contractors don't rely heavily on China for core defense business. But symbolism still matters in geopolitics. Because this is Beijing doing two things at once. First, punishing companies tied to Taiwan defense. Second, sending a message to Washington. If you keep upgrading Taiwan's military capability, we will keep raising the cost, politically and commercially. And there's a second-order effect too. Even if a company doesn't sell weapons in China, sanctions can complicate partnerships, supply chain relationships, financing, and future market access, especially for firms that have any indirect exposure. So, what should you watch next? Number 1. Does China escalate beyond lists and bans into broader commercial pressure, like restrictions on components, materials, or market access that actually bite? Number 2. Does Washington respond with its own countermeasures, or does it treat this as expected retaliation and keep the arms pipeline moving? Number 3. Watch the timing around future US Taiwan decisions, because every major arms package now looks like it will trigger a predictable Chinese response, and that cycle increases tension even if neither side wants a direct war. Bottom line, this isn't just China sanctions a few companies. It's the deeper pattern. Taiwan is the fault line, and both sides are hardening positions. The US expanding support, China expanding retaliation, and Taiwan caught in the middle building deterrence as fast as it can. If this breakdown helped, subscribe, hit like, and share. And tell me in the comments, do these sanctions actually change US policy, or do they just accelerate the US-China split even more?